to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal with your host, Conan Neutron. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rotten about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
The thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Competence of a hero or a fool, I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It means something. It means something.
You know, that's my take on it. What's yours?
Protonic reversal.
That's like a science thing, right?
Indeed it is. It is a science thing. This is a science place. It is a scientific fact that we are all up in your face. It is time once again for the one, the only Protonic reversal. Welcome to it, and additionally, welcome to it. Thanks for joining. This is episode 440. 440. I've got my band background too for people watching on YouTube. But you know what? I'm too lazy to change it. It's going to be the band background. Deal with it. Lots of stuff going on. But I always make time to talk to awesome people in this show. Very excited to have Steve Tuliapana, who I completely misspelled the name of in the title of the show. I just realized. From Season of Risk is where I know him from years back. Violenteer, if you know Record Bar and Mini Bar in Kansas City. Those are great venues. He does that. Really interesting, intelligent guy. He had one of the cooler how to tour while getting older, which I guess is technically all of us, articles that I've seen in a while. Big fan of this guy. Have been for a very long time, since before the internet as we know it now. Let's put it that way, which we'll get into that later. Before we get into any of that, though, welcome to Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. I'm your host, Conan Neutron. I'm a rock and roll lifer that's been touring and recording for 25 years, most known for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Music is a huge part of my life, and I use the format of this very long-running podcast to talk about music with musicians whose work I enjoy and respect, but who may not be household names. This is episode 440. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, archives of it are available for free. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding at protonicreversal.com. However, if you want to support the show and get episodes sooner, $1 a month at patreon.com/protonicreversal will achieve that goal. If you like the show or even just a single episode, please feel free to like, subscribe on your platform of choice, share it around the internet, and even leave a review. All that helps people discover the show. It beats back the almighty algorithmic overlords. It's just a darn nice thing to do. Yeah, so we'll be talking with Steve shortly. Season of Risk, a band I've been a fan of for many years. Before we do that, though, Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends activity incoming. We're going back out in October and November. So please, if you are in any of the cities we are playing, which include Chicago again, Minneapolis, Lincoln, Nebraska, Denver, Salt Lake City, Boise, Eugene, Portland, and then Seattle for Rat Say Recon with Piss Jeans, God Belize, Austerity Program, Cherubs, Helmsley, so many great bands. Please come out to all those shows. And then we have the November leg where we're going through Kansas City, Jackson, Atlanta, New Orleans, Austin, Denton, Wichita, Santa Fe, and Phoenix, Arizona. And then there's a very special show on December 5th, on my birthday, with Mr. Mike Watt at Record Bar in Los Angeles, which I'm very excited about. So there you go. NeutronFriends.com, NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com, Way of the Neutron. I will have, hopefully, some Protonic Reversal stickers or buttons. So come out and say hey at the merch table if you're in any of those places. Cool. All right, so Record Bar, Violenteer, great place, a great band. Season Risk. There's a band that's been around for a long time, doing great stuff for a long time. I've talked to this guy back when the only option was email. There wasn't any of this other nonsense. which honestly I kind of preferred, frankly. And he's a great dude. He's very intelligent, very talented musician. Very, very cool guy. I'm very excited to bring you Steve Tuliapana. Welcome, man.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Sorry, that's all the time we got. No, kidding.
Perfect.
Yeah, I started thinking about somebody. I was talking to somebody at a show like years ago. Someone's like, "Oh, would you ever have Steve from Season to Risk on?" I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." I was like, I think I have his email somewhere because when I was in Replicator, which was around the same time that Season to Risk was kind of kicking the first time, I know we talked back and forth now and again. I was like, I always liked that band. Like, I should totally do that. And then like a lot of things with this show, I just forgot. There's something to say about there just being like, there could be somebody else that maybe remembers for you and or does this work. But no, that's not how I choose to do this. But I have been a fan since the OG run of Season to Risk. And I think you guys have been very consistent. I was very excited when you guys came back and started doing stuff. I've had Josh on a few times.
Josh is here at my house right now, actually.
Oh, really? All the time I say what up. And so Season to Risk has come up on the show, but never directly talking to you. So, and I think it's fascinating because you have done a lot of other stuff that isn't that band. But for me, it always comes back to that band because that's how I first know you from. So give me the origin story of Season to Risk. How did it originally all come together? Because it's a pretty long-running band at this point.
Yeah, the original lineup was. Sorry, are you getting a feedback loop or not?
Oh, you know what? That might be me. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not me.
No. It's
okay.
You think you've been doing this show over 10 years. So none of this stuff was around when I started doing this show. It was actually easier with the hardware solution. You could look at the lights and know that everything was all right. But anyway.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. The original lineup was Dwayne Trower, Paul Malinowski, who's in Shiner,
the great Paul Malinowski,
with Josh Newton now, and a drummer. We've been through a lot of drummers, and then Paul and Dwayne had a punk rock, kind of a thrash band called Curious George, and I had kind of a post-hardcore crossover band called Nine Lives, and we were all buddies, and we would play shows together. We were throwing, we were underage, and we were throwing house parties and warehouse parties and doing all that kind of stuff together. And at some point, it kind of both those. They wanted to get a little more complex with what they were doing, and I wanted to get less metal with what I was doing. And so we just kind of mashed up and started. That's why we started Season to Risk. And it took a minute, but that was technically the first show we ever did was in November of 1989.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was about 89, right? Because I remember by the time, you guys being a West Coast guy, I didn't grow up in the Midwest. You guys came to my attention later. But it was definitely front loaded with, these guys have been around for a while. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't find out about Giant Share until 6 years ago. So
it's a good find though.
And then we played the same show, the same thing, 3 times, and I only just now saw them for the first time.
Wow.
I think in July. So there's always hope. Is what I'm saying. So this is 89. And so this is kind of what you're coming out. It's coming from this world that trying to do something a little different, right? Kind of push it a little harder, not just do what's already being done out there.
Right. That was always, there was we kind of all grew up with the SST stuff, and that was Black Flag informed us as much as the Midwest stuff, like DeCroixson and that kind of world, and then just trying to find our own little thing that we're doing, and just be as creative as possible. And it just made us kind of, and also there's just still some naivety in it, and then you're just kind of when we first started, we didn't put our first real record out until 92, I think. So we were at it for a minute, and we would go play shows in the Midwest, but we didn't get to the West Coast until I think 93 or something.
Yeah.
93. So
yeah. And there's other, so what, like Molly McGuire's probably like a contemporary, right? Like what other stuff's going around?
Molly and Shiner came a little after us, but they were definitely contemporaries. Giant's Chair, Boy's Life a little later.
Boy's Life, sure. Yeah.
A lot of those guys were here, but I think Molly started. Well, they had Germbox was the other project that they had. They kind of came out of Germbox, and Jason Blackford from Molly had a thing called Hunch, and those guys he kind of mashed up with the Germbox guys and started Molly McGuire, that's all like early 90s and mid 90s,
Right. Yeah. And I when I talk to bands that are around during that time, I mentioned sort of how, there being a very, vibrant underground before the gold rush period starts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Never mind. Right. Yeah.
Everybody was kind of doing stuff, and we were aware of Sub Pop, obviously, and Soundgarden and all that stuff was happening. But and then it just kind of went like that. And it was weird how we got discovered by a Minneapolis label that had us come up and play, and they did a developmental deal with Sony, the Gold Rush, as you say, and then we kind of got pulled into that tornado and did that for like 7 years until that tornado spun out, and
which is a fairly common story, right? I mean, there's not very many people that came out smelling like a rose.
And then we ended up doing 2 independent records. One with Thick, and then one with the whole story.
Let's before we dash away. So tell me about that first Columbia record, the self-titled one. How did that all come to pass? Because at this point, you guys you've been around for a bit, right? About like what, at least 3-4 years, right? You know what you're doing. You got an idea of the what works and what doesn't. The band has a voice, right? These are all important things.
We wanted to go on tour. That's really what we wanted to do. We weren't really thinking putting out. There weren't CDs. We were making cassette tapes, And I mean, there were CDs, but we were making them, And we wanted to tour, and we gave this guy like 30 tapes in the promo packs and all this to try to book us a Midwest tour. We all told our jobs we were going to take off this month in the summer, and the guy ended up not booking any shows at all. He didn't get any shows booked.
Wow.
And then
that's impressive.
Yes. 6 months later, we get a call. I got a phone call from this guy, Brent Ashley at Red Decibel in Minneapolis, and he said, "Hey, we got your promo pack here, or whatever." He didn't talk like that, but he's like,
"Sure, yeah." We got
your
demo.
He's like, "We loved this. I'd love to see you guys." I go, "Oh, can you get us some shows?" He's like, "Well, come on, Minneapolis. Like, can you help us get some shows on the way up?" And he's like, "Sure, I'll help you." And he kind of hit up all the bands that were on the label, and we did. And we already had connections to Chicago, so we did St. Louis, Chicago,
sure,
Milwaukee, Madison on over, and they liked us, and they signed. They said, "Let's go." At that point, the Columbia really wasn't in the picture yet. At that point, they gave us a little budget. It was a pretty simple contract, and we, our drummer at the time was from Chicago, and he was a partner in a recording studio that just so happened to be where the Smashing Pumpkins were working on their stuff, and he was roommates with Darcy, and
small world.
Real small world, and we stayed at their apartment, and we were up there for like a month, and we just hashed that all out and did that, and then while we were there, unbeknownst to us, Red Decibel did their developmental deal with Columbia Records, and an A&R guy came out and met with us, and we tried to get Billy to work on the record, and he was, "I don't have a lot of time." He was cool, but he's like, he didn't help out there, but he was nice to us. It wasn't, but I get it,
Right.
They'd already put Gish out, and they were working on their demos for their next big breakout record is what they were working on. And
yeah.
so we would have to leave the studio sometimes when they would have to go in, and then we would just go hang out. We had zero money, and I remember doing like we didn't have money for beer or anything, and we were just like I remember just walking around in Chicago, and we had this great idea one day. We're like, let's just see how many hours we can stay awake. See, that'll probably be psychedelic. Let's just,
drawbacks to that, right?
Yeah. I remember we had no drugs either, though. We were just trying to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a funny memory that just popped in my head, and I remember just watching the Teletubbies at 9 in the morning the next day, and just it was pretty trippy. And then we were out.
That's great.
And, so that's what we did on the weekend while the Pumpkins were recording. We were just trying.
Just finding ways to entertain yourself, more or less.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's way more options for entertainment now, but it is. Sometimes I'm like, oh, the kids are missing out, and then it's like, are they?
Yeah. So Columbia came in and released that one, and but then it took a really long time for them to get it out. They kept pushing it back, and we were waiting for the artwork from Kozik. It just took really long time, and
that's right. It is a great. I mean, I'm a big Kozik fan, so I mean that was a notable thing. It's got Frank Kozik artwork. Wow.
Yeah.
But because those early songs were with Tim Dow. Right.
He wrote a lot of that stuff with us, but he had quit the band. Tim was not, he basically said, we were going to do the deal with Red Decimal. And he's like, I don't really know much. I don't think this label, I think we can do something bigger. He really just wanted to be on Sub Pop. That was his thing. And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, great, but yeah.
These guys want to put our record out. I'm like, this
bird in hand, baby.
Yeah, he did, but he ended up joining Shiner after a little while after that, and they did get a 7-inch on Sub Pop, so he got his dream.
There you go. Okay. And that's that worked out pretty well. Those Tim Dow Shiner records are great.
Wonderful. He's a brilliant drummer, and he's still a very good friend. Like when he comes in town, he'll stay here, but he just took a different path.
They did that one tour where they Gherkin and Dow both came out, and and I was like, oh, that's rad. I really like that because of course I never saw them. I never saw them with Tim because that was before I knew who the hell they were.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. I got to see that, and then but it's funny because there was a guy I know in the audience is like, who does that guy like coach Little League or something? I was like, what do you mean? It was like, it looks like somebody's coach. I'm like, well, it's the original drummer. It was like, oh, like he thought it was just like a guy they knew. And it was like, no, he's on like the first couple records, man. Like this guy's legendary. But,
oh yeah, he played in that band 9 Lives with me before Season of Risk, and he also he had a really killer like speed metal band called Vivictus. If you can find that stuff.
Oh wow!
I don't know where you would find it, to be honest.
I mean, to be clear, Gherkin's amazing too. Don't get me wrong. I just think I was like, there will be no Tim Dow disparagement in my watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I set him to right. Okay, so that first record, and you have the cool Kozik. So it takes a while to happen, and it's via Red Decimal. Right. And so then there's just that kind of weird, the freaks are being like let in the building for some reason. Like, I mean, there was wasn't there a Season of Risk poster or something in like one of those Fakakta? Oh, was it 90210? Was that right?
Oh, yep. Nicely done. Yeah. Yes. It was on the drug dealer's door. Yes, they put the Kozik. It was the Kozik artwork, and it was awesome. On that. And, yeah, we had a couple.
I definitely Leo memed when I saw that, and I've honestly, I've seen maybe 4 episodes of that show ever, and the other one I saw was the Flaming Lips. But that was that show, right? Yeah, but it was like I was like, oh, I know that man.
Yeah. Oh I got my phone blew up that day, like you never, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
The guy from Red Decimal just had they were looking for stuff, and he sent them just a whole box full of promo, and they just had
that rocks.
Like that. So, yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, there was like sticker in high fidelity. There's all that kind of stuff that they were doing, the product placement stuff, through that opportunity. It's wild. But.
Well, and it's also interesting that there's a movie podcast. It's like a friend show that is currently covering the works of Catherine Bigelow, and I was like, oh, that's really funny that you mentioned that because of course, Strange Days.
Yeah, we were in her movie. Yeah,
which is sort of like between she kind of is known for a thing now, but like that and Near Dark kind of had their own.
Yeah.
Like punk rock credibility. I don't know if it was correct to talk about for movies, but like they were cool. They were cool movies, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like the Risk is in Strange Days. That's cool.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest experiences ever. It was really, really neat.
Yeah, how was that? How was that? It was as experience. They treated you well. It was.
Oh, they treated us incredibly well. We were there for 2 weeks on set.
Oh, that's right.
We had our own trailer, and we had a blast. We had so much fun. I mean, I could tell you.
How many times did you have to play the song, or what do you miming?
I mean, it's miming, yeah, a shit ton. I mean, there's stuff that they did so much coverage that didn't end up in the film.
Right.
And the weird thing is, the song we wrote for it was only 2 minutes long, and they ended up using the song. Actually, they extended it. It's longer than 2 minutes. The scene is you only see us for like 30 seconds.
Because there's other stuff going. Yeah, it's like it's the 90s thing. It's like, yeah, no club is really like this, but this is like what the club looks like. Where it's like, I've never been to any show like this. But I always thought, but again, I kind of, before I moved to the Bay Area, I was sort of like, wow, is this what shows are like? No, not really. Bunch of dudes standing around mostly. But the Trocadero a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was, that's a nice. I always talk about the, those weird moments of mainstream kind of crossover, and things, the Fear on Saturday Night Live, for instance, things like that. So you always kind of like, oh, that's so interesting.
Yes.
They didn't put you on the soundtrack though, right? If I remember correctly.
We got cut from the soundtrack. It was pretty. We were pretty bummed. I mean, they paid us what we were going to get paid, but we thought we might get some residuals from the soundtrack, but they didn't. Yeah. We didn't make the soundtrack, and so then I just put it out on a 7-inch with the split 7-inch with Glazed Baby. I was like, you know what? Yeah. We're going to put this out. I want this song to be out there. So,
featuring your friend of mine, Josh Newton. Actually,
yes.
I was just talking about Glazed Baby, and I was for whatever reason I couldn't remember the band's name, and I was like, it's and it was like, it's right here, and then I finally was Glazed Baby, and we were like, what? I was like, the band I was trying to think of, like, oh, okay. That's like, how did I forget Glazed Baby even for a minute?
That name, or just
it's like one of the great, like it showed up on every list of offensive band names.
Yeah.
That always comes out. It's like
it's pretty gross.
I remember I heard the band name for a long time before I actually listened to them, and then I was like, oh, cool, sounds good, I like it. Yeah. It was like, oh wow, that's a bold choice. Anyway, so then so take us into. So that's like 93, 94. Take us into 1995. This is where In a Perfect World, which you did with former guest of the show, Martin Bisi.
Yeah.
Right?
So that movie, we were actually recording with Bisi. We were out in New York working with him. We stayed with him for 3 months. We stayed in his studio. We lived there. And then we got.
That's a great studio too. It's so freaking cool, man.
So yeah, Martin's great. He had so much fun. Yeah, such a cool, interesting person with so many stories, and he's been, right there next to so much cool New York.
Like he showed me the music
big history,
that big Swans drum. I was like, hell yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's a good hang. Yeah.
Yeah, the vocal booth where I don't know if he showed you the firecracker marks in the vocal booth from the Sonic Youth record.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And he's like, that scream, he goes, they just threw him in there and they freaked Lee out. And that scream was him freaking out because of the firecrackers. It's like burned a mark on the floor,
It's awesome. Yeah, that place, it's awesome that like everything around that area is so different, and he's managed to keep that place just like OG. It's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't been over. We didn't have time last when we were in New York a few months ago. We didn't have time to get over there. So
Yeah, I invite him out when we play, but and he's a busy dude.
yeah.
But I got to there was a couple of years ago I was out there not for music stuff, but kind of like emceeing an event, and like no one I normally would hang with was around, and I was like, oh, let me just hit up Martin BC. He was like, yeah, come by the studio. I'm like, all right. So we spent the afternoon just like hanging out of the studio, BSing basically. And I was like, this is great. I never would have expected this, but certainly was a pleasant surprise because I wasn't like, hey, can you give me a tour? Although I totally would have done that, but
right.
he was just like, come by. I'm like, yeah, okay, right on.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is about me hanging out, not about Season Risk. So,
well,
so second record. Martin BC records it, right? Gherkin.
Yeah, the drummer we had was a great guy and a really good drummer, but there was we were trying to write some more complex music. We were just really wanting to get a little mathier and challenge ourselves more, and which probably wasn't it was satisfying artistically, but the smartest move to be on a major label to go like. They were like, "What the hell is this?" They had no idea.
Yeah, they love it
when we delivered it. But Gherkin was a good friend, and he was just he was available. He was like, "Hell, I'll do it. I want to do it." And so they both were in the studio together. But Chad, the only song that he ended up being on was the one that was in the film that we did for the Strange Days soundtrack, and then he kind of like after that he was kind of like he's like, well, what's my role? I'm like, well, we want you to kind of take lessons and kind of like get figure you can do this. And then he just was like, I'm going home. I'm not going to do it. And so again, we're still friends. He was he came out to our show in the last summer in Minneapolis. He came out and it's really good to see him. But
awesome.
Yeah, Gherkin finished the record, and then he went immediately on a Mali tour, and then we took a break. And I remember flying. I went out. I met Mali. I met up with them at one point, and I was kind of roadieing for him a little bit. I don't know. I get my timelines a little confused, but that was. And then we kind of went on a hunt for a drummer. And we tried
like someone that could actually hang with the band and do all because you guys were I remember the 7-Year Bitch you're going out with them. You were making some pretty good road work this time. That's kind of where you came to my attention.
We are on tour all the time. And Frank from the Paintings, he's now in We Are the Asteroid. He came in, he did a handful of shows with us just to fill in because we had like some stuff in Neurosis.
We're playing with them next month. We Are the Asteroid.
Have you seen them yet?
No, I've never seen them.
They're so great. Excited. It's so fun.
Yeah. We're playing Austin.
I'm a big fan.
Nice. Great.
Yeah, big fan. And then it was the Glazed Baby guys actually who introduced us to David. He was a fellow Cape Codder and played in a band called Earshot. And actually was, I think he did some shows with Glazed Baby when they did 2 drummers possibly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
But he came down. He tells the story best. I can't tell, but he really didn't have much time to listen to the music, and he showed up and he just he listened to it on the train ride down to New York. And he showed up and he slayed. This kid's so good. And he did a tour with us, and then we wanted to take a little time. He actually did a tour. Before he did the tour, we played a CMJ show with 7-Year Bitch, and Tim Dow played with us. Came and played one last show with us and learned all the stuff. And David watched all that, and then. Drew Barrymore was there that night. I remember.
What? That's awesome.
When she was dating Eric Erland, or the whole guy.
Oh, that's right. Wow, I forgot all about that.
And they were friends with 7-Year Bitch, and so they came out. And it was.
He had that great Vaquero guitar that was one of those aluminum builders that kind of time have forgotten, but those were super cool. I like that guitar a lot. Really interesting guitar player too.
Yeah, I agree. But then he did the tour. Then we went home and we said, well, we didn't hire him, to be in the band full time. We went home and we played with so many drummers, like just trying different people out. And
Yeah.
And then in the end, we had another tour lined up. I think we were going out with the Insane or something. And I was just like, we got to call that kid from Cape Cod back. We got to do.
Right.
And he's like, am I in? Like, am I moving there? I'm like, yes. Can you be here? And then he was like, it was like, seriously, he had like 4 days to get here and rehearse. And then he was here for many, many years until after we did the Shattering. And then after that, he got married to an old friend of his from way back that was still on Cape Cod. So he went back that way.
Sure. Yeah. Which makes sense. So, yeah. And so that's a busy time for the band. You know, there's the, like Toadie's Monster Magnet, right? Like when there was like, it just seemed like all the rad bands were always playing with Season to Risk. And it was like, oh, that's awesome. And so what happens, this is kind of leading towards 96. You guys are hitting the road hard. It's kind of relatively exhausting, I would imagine. So what happens before what happens before Paul quits? Like what's the order of events here?
We did a run with Babes and Toyland somewhere in there. We did Bark Market. It was so much. And I would
love to have Sardi on this show, man.
That'd be amazing, right?
He's so great. And like I feel like the kids don't know Bark Market. I'm like, Bark Market was great.
Amazing. And live they were so good.
Yeah. I don't think I've talked to him in like 16 years. I don't think we have his email anymore. But like I would love to put it out there in the world. Dave Sardi, come on Protonic Reversal. I'm a fan. There you go. Okay, so yeah, Babes in Toyland.
Yeah, I feel like Shiner had kicked Sean out, who's Sean Sherrill was on the first record, and they not kicked him out, whatever. He left the band, but he tour managed for us. He's my business partner at Record Bar, but they feel like we're on that tour. Mike Harbin was playing bass for Shiner at that point. Like he did it for a short little run. He was, I think that's his name, if I got it right. He was a roadie for Jawbox, I think, is what that connection was there. Anyway, I remember we were like in Atlanta or something, somewhere in the South, and we were touring. It was Shiner, Glaze Baby, and Season of Risk was this run. And
awesome.
I got a phone call from our manager, and she's like, they're not going to option the next record. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, well, okay, that kind of sucks. But what does that mean? What's our plan? And she's like, well, we can start looking for another label. But then like the next day, our booking agent called and like, yeah, I think we're going to drop you guys too. And I was just like, what the hell? You know, like it was just like,
thanks. Yeah.
No, you don't have that major label money behind it. And they're like, yeah, we can't get, you know, it's like this is what happens. And we were like, our attitude was like, well, fuck you. We always wanted to be an independent band anyway. So we're going to keep fucking doing what we do. And yeah, you know, we just soldier on, you know, you have touring, you know, none of us had jobs. We were, you know, we did pretty well with the film and Columbia stuff. And we were just
all this playing shows with like-minded bands, you know, like people knew who you were. And it's like, that's not nothing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm saying we just kept busy. So we all lived together and we lived cheaply. And then we're like, oh, well, we're going to be at home more. And then we started, you know, getting picked, you know, doing.
Well, that's kind of when building the studio stuff happened, right? That was the impetus behind that, which is obviously a very, very smart move and something that is, I think, common now. And now that, you know, digital recording is so prevalent, but it was, you know, very, very future forward at the time.
But we had 2-inch tape.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a real deal. It's like you guys on Unwound were the only ones I could think of off the top of my head. I was like, wow, that's so smart. I was so jealous. I was like, how do you do that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then nature intervened and we had a flood and we lost all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it happens all the time. You know, we got flooded out a few months ago. We had this like crazy flooding in Milwaukee. We got off easy, but there was like people across town that had like, you know, water up to their chest. I was like, oh my God. I know one person had a studio and I don't know. Hope that insurance pays out. You know, you gotta.
Yeah. Of course, we didn't have that. We weren't that smart.
Yeah, I mean that's such a heartbreaker, right? That's got to be like such a devastating moment.
Yeah, the thing that the biggest thing was all the tapes that we lost and all that stuff. It's like, but we managed to. Oh, drop my headphone here. We managed to make that Men Are Monkeys record there.
Yeah.
And we were pretty pleased with it. But then the next disaster was somewhere in the mastering process, some machine was out of phase and no one listened to it before it went to press. And then we get it and it's like, why does it sound like hell? You know?
Right.
But then, as you know, we reissued that.
Yeah, that was. I was gonna say that just happened, but that did not just happen. That was like 10 years ago.
It was the reissue when the reissue came out. Or
yeah, it was
right before pandemic. So
it was like 2019. Yeah,
6 years ago or something.
I keep feeling like that's 5 weeks ago, but that was actually 6 years ago.
Right. Oh, I think like time has just changed.
Like we're playing some places in the store. I'm like, oh yeah, you're just there, and I look back. I'm like, nope, that was 6 years ago. Cool.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I have. I think I still have one of the messed up CDs. I was so stoked because I got it. It was like in the Amoeba dollar bin, and then I was like, oh, that's why it was in the dollar bin. It's because
weirdly, some people are like, this is how it's supposed to sound. They love it, and they didn't care for it when we reissued.
Oh, really?
They're like, I don't know, that sounds weird to me. And I'm like, oh.
I think it sounds miles better personally. I mean, it's but I don't know. I guess I'm just built different. One thing we kind of skipped over was Exunta, Paul, and Enter Josh.
Yeah, so Paul. We got those tying that back to the Shiner had Mike Harbin. We were all on tour together, and I think they were kind of talking behind the scenes, Paul and Alan, and basically that the label dropped us, the booking agent dropped us, and then the next thing Paul's like, Mike's not going to be in the band after this tour, and I'm going to go over there. And we're like, yeah. I was like, what?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then again, that whole like attitude was like, well, okay, fuck it, we're gonna. Glazed Baby a bunch of those guys had moved to Kansas City, and Glazed Baby had kind of stopped, and Josh was like, oh, I'm gonna come to Kansas. Or Josh was on. He was on tour with the Unsane, and they came through Kansas City,
right?
And they got here, and he realized they weren't really going to use him as a second guitar player. He was going to be a merch guy, and he was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay in Kansas City. And then we're like, well, why don't you,
Yeah, while you're here,
yeah.
Why don't you play a cool band?
Yeah, and so that's how he joined the group, and he stayed until he also married went back to Cape Cod and got married, and then he left, and then we had this guy Chris for a while, and then Billy Smith from Dirt Nap was in Chicago, and they had broken up, and he moved back to Kansas City, and Josh was on the way out, and Billy was at our shows like raising hell one time. He was just stage diving and going crazy. I'm like, you're the new bass player. He goes, I don't play bass. I'm like, you do now.
Yeah, now you do. That's great.
Yeah.
So Josh is still in the band, and I want to say he may have told this story when I had him on the show, like like double digit era, like years ago, right? But tell me about the cannon flip. Tell me about your van, horrific van accident.
We were wrapping up a tour with King Can. Do you remember those guys?
Oh, I don't know.
King Can were out of Minneapolis, and guitar player's now in Helmet. He's
oh, okay, cool.
But we went and they were like, and then the other guy, Do you remember Guzzard at all?
Oh, of course, yeah.
It was.
I don't know why I said of course when I didn't know the band you mentioned a sentence before, but anyway, yeah,
They were brothers and whatever. They're connected in that whole Minneapolis scene. But finished this tour with them. We're up in Minneapolis this wintertime. I remember we stayed up all night playing like Mike Tyson Punch Out,
yeah,
Nintendo or something. Drinking Grain Belt, like.
Yeah,
and there we didn't have it. That was the last show, and we were driving back to Kansas City, and we I was driving. I wasn't. I was going a little too fast. It was kind of it wasn't white out, but the snow was kind of coming across the thing, and I had to take a shit so bad, like a Grain Belt beer shit. I was like, so I was going just a smidge too fast, and. Yeah, and we went under a bridge. As we went under the bridge, a semi came the other way, and the wind so we just started doing it was black ice. You didn't see it, and we just started sliding. And I was just like, oh, and I remember Josh at the back was like going. Somebody goes, I think it was Josh. He's like, "You got it. You don't got it. You got it. You don't got it." And then just. Because I was trying to, kind of turn into it, and then it just took off and spun all the way around, and then it flipped over into the median, and we just missed a couple trucks, and it landed on the opposite side of the slider. So once it just was silent, and it just we got there, and all the gear underneath the loft had like. Everybody was shit flying over coffee, and then we came to a silent. The radio in this van hadn't worked for a while. Silence, and then we had this music box that I picked up in a gutter in Chicago. It was a broken music box that I just played like Silent Night, I think, and I had randomly picked it up and had it on the dashboard, and it just silence in the snow, like, and then that thing started playing. Silent Night started playing, and I'm just like, "Oh, we're all dead. We're dead," And David's on top of me, and we were all just banged and bruised up, and luckily nobody had anything major. We slid the door open, we climbed out, but we had made a film. Like we were playing with this camera the whole time, so there's some footage of it, and
I think it's on YouTube, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, we strung it together and made a little film out of it and of all the stuff from that tour, and it was terrifying. We were very lucky to get out, and they came and they flipped it back over, and then the radio worked.
Because it hadn't worked before, but like somehow the van totally flipping over that.
We went straight to a hotel, and we drank a bunch more shitty beer because we're all so freaking out.
There's a version of that story where it goes very differently, right? I mean,
and there's a lot of bands that have had that the other story happen, and it's really sad. So you can remember to be safer, out there. And
I somehow
are safer now,
I somehow do remember that the stereo started working at the
that's story,
which was just sort of like the that's it.
But it drove like this. It was like the frame was totally bent. We drove it for another couple of years. We drove that.
Oh, really?
Thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. That is wild. that is a cautionary tale, to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Right. So the run up to this, and it is also, as a sidebar, it is funny. Paul leaving and Josh joining, considering they both end up in Shiner later on. Is this in that kind of Casey tagging in, tagging out musical chairs?
Joel Hamilton from Blaze Baby was in the van with us on that trip.
Oh,
and he actually went to Shiner before Josh.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He plays on Lula or Starless. He's on one of those.
Is he really? Oh, wow. I have those reissues too. I guess I haven't looked that hard at the casting on there. That's wild. Well, I mean, it's not that wild, but it's wild that I didn't know that. Or I either knew it and forgot it, or I didn't know it. And what's the difference, really?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about Men Are Monkeys, Robots Win. Tell me about that record.
Yeah, we did that.
Together.
We just recorded it all ourselves at the studio before the flood, and I had started playing guitar. Dwayne was kind of busy, and so I started writing with Josh on guitar a little bit and adding some extra guitar and dissonance and stuff. I just was never very good at it, though, especially live. So I did it on that record, and I played on the tours for that record. I played guitar. I did play guitar all those tours, and then the next record I wrote some songs, but when we went to record, I'm jumping ahead, but we went to record with Owned and Operated out in Colorado.
Right. Bill Stevenson's place. Yeah.
And we had done a ton of dates all over the years, and we were all good buddies, and they had started that label, and we went out there, and I in the end I was like, I'm not playing guitar anymore, and we brought Wade Williamson in. So.
Yeah, I mean, because there's something kind of cool creatively about doing it, but it's also if you're putting on a show. First of all, I think the art of being a front man or front person, I should say, is a real one, and there is something to it that, as satisfying as it is to like play cool guitar parts and like a cool song, there is you're always dividing your attention as far as connecting to the audience, right? And that's something that I feel like goes in and out of favor for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I
know. I
understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes I go back and forth. It's like, I'm just a dancing clown, it's like you're kind of a monkey, but it's like, to me, it's very natural too, though. I like really like to express the music. Like it's like you're kind of, like you said, the conduit for the band. Like, there might be musicians in the audience, and we definitely are more of a musician's band, but you have that, like, people that don't play instruments. Well, everybody can sing, right? So they kind of like that. So it takes the musicality, and people can grasp onto that. I think
there's like a universal relatability to it that and one, of course, there's a whole Iggy Pop element of it as well. Just like, oh wow, what's this guy up to?
Totally.
Taken to its nth degree by people like David Yao and such.
So you have to knock on wood every time you say Iggy Pop these days.
Oh yeah.
It's
man, I know it's one has to imagine we're gonna lose him someday, but
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so bad.
I know, it's so bad. I'm like 1 degree away from 2 people that play in his band, and I'm just
nice.
That has to be the raddest thing in the freaking world. I love that. What an amazing experience! Like, just that somebody that has seen that much rock and roll history, and I actually say every once in a while someone will ask me like, hey, what would be your bucket list for people to have on the show? And I say I've talked to most of them, but it's like Iggy Pop would be one, though. Like, anyone have his number? Sparks, Iggy Pop, like, let's go, baby. Some of these guys ain't getting any younger.
Yeah, you're right. None of us are.
I know, ain't that the truth? Boy, howdy. Okay, so sorry, but Men Are Monkeys, Robots Win. All right, so you got some guitar on there. Thick Records ends up doing the record, right? There, this is so we're kind of entering the late '90s period. What's going on with the band around this time? Post Men Are Monkeys, pre The Shattering. Y2K.
Yeah.
Y2K.
Right. Yeah. Remember that?
Oh my God. Yes, I do.
Yeah, we had to tour less because we didn't have the support we had, and but we still got out there and did at least 90 shows a year, or more, and for those years, and then then Josh left, and then we started took a little time here and there. We just started working on the Shattering music, and we really the Thick was kind of, I can't remember how we jumped from Thick to Owned and Operated. I think Thick was just kind of like they were cool. I don't know if they were more of I guess more punk rock label in a way, you know,
that's kind of was my take on it, that they like, I feel like most of I feel like Season Risk was kind of an outlier.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Not a bad way, but just in a way
Yeah. There weren't bands on the label that made sense for us to tour with, and you know, I love Blue Meanies and
Blue Meanies, I mean, they not like they weren't good bands. It just was like, oh, that's
right.
Like you guys were like a little kind of weirder, more aggressive.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's not like it's like insane or something, but it's like then by contrast, I mean.
Right. Yeah. And then I can't remember if we did another tour with All and My Name, or if that was probably a lot earlier. I get the timelines confused, but Bill will start that. Those guys are starting that label, and
right. Oh yeah.
I think they just reached out and said, "What are you doing for your next record?" And I was like, "We're gonna come record in the Blaster Room. That's what we're gonna do." So
yeah. Well, I mean, and God, Bill Stevens,
it's amazing.
What an amazing drummer and
human
producer, human. Yeah, exactly. That is someone that I don't know why I haven't had him on, because I forget, I guess. But I would love to have Bill Stevenson. I've had Stefan on. So I've had somebody from Descendants. I've had a few people from Flag, but I've never talked to Bill. Weird.
Yeah.
Huh,
yeah.
I should do something about that.
He's got great stories.
Yeah. Not the least of which is recording with Season Risk. So this is all Sevens Up being shattering, right? This is
yeah. And I'm really super proud of that record. I think it sounds amazing. And Jason Livermore engineered it, and Bill was there helping produce it, and it was kick-ass. We did a bunch of touring on that with we did shows like Wretch Like Me, who were on the label, and then they ended up doing a Shine record. Janice Figure, who was a little different. They're a little more like kind of do you remember them from Minneapolis?
Yes.
They had a bit of like a misfitsy kind of punkabilly thing they were doing. It was really fun, and we toured with them. We kept busy, but we were also, we were all back here in Kansas City. I was started bartending, and I was DJ. I had a really successful like DJ dance night I was doing, and I got married right in there. Actually, we're celebrating 25 years coming up.
Congratulations!
Lovely. At the end of in about a month.
That's
actually exactly a month from today.
What is that? What do you get for that? It was like silver. No, that's not silver. It's like 10.
I need to know because I need to. I got a plan. I got a plan before.
Figure it out there. I'll take the time to look that one up, because that's a gift for everybody.
It's probably tickets to see the Viagra Boys.
Everybody wins, right? On that one.
Yeah. She's a big fan. Yeah.
I've never seen them. I know.
Oh, they're so fun live. We've actually flown to see them. We went and tried to get them to come play a record bar so many times, and they just got too big before I could get them.
Yeah, they're pretty big at this point. Can I tell you? I nailed it. 25th anniversary gift theme: sterling silver. Traditional gifts, sterling silver. Modern gifts, sterling silver. Color, silver. Metal, silver.
Oh, nice.
I don't know how I knew that, but I got it.
Nicely done. Nice. All right.
I got some time before I have to. What's funny? You know what? I screwed up though. The 10-year anniversary is aluminum. I could have justified getting another guitar.
There you go.
Oh, it's a 10-year anniversary. Yay. Look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the band's big band kind of moves to like a lower power setting,
a little bit.
That's
just not touring much. We just weren't getting supports, those cool support slots, and we were just going out and doing our own stuff and teaming up with cool people like Train Dodge and people. Those guys are workhorses, and then it kind of like we went and did. We got asked to do some Warped Tour dates, and we went up to Canada and did that. And then we were just like, because we could get into Canada because none of us had DUIs, and so we kind of picked up some bands that had to fall off, and we went up and did that. And if it's your thing, that's cool, but it wasn't our thing. And I was very much like the mall of it all, and the hot topicness of it all just really wore us down. And we're in our 30s. Oh my God, we're in the 30s now. we need to so we just decided to just put it to bed for a while, and
right.
But we didn't put music to bed. And Billy and I immediately started Roman numerals, and
right.
Yeah, and then
before we move on to that, I do like the Shattering quite a bit. I think that in a Perfect World, my favorite records from you guys. But I think it kind of doesn't really get its due.
Yeah, I'm super proud of it.
Timing wise, I think it's just kind of that late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it was 2001, I think, and it's just a weird time for putting records out. Nobody knew pre-streaming. Nobody it was like, oh, what? How do you even do this?
Yeah.
And owned and operated. They made a good go at it. They tried really hard, and they put a bunch of cool records out, but it was just the worst time to have a label. It
was almost a little too early or a little too late. You know what I mean? And that's I think that's the story with a lot of bands where it's like unless you were the Strokes or something. I mean, it was
right.
it was an odd time. It was not as atomized and balkanized as it is now, but it's it was just a lot of stuff kind of fell through the cracks or was rediscovered later. But anyway, Roman numerals. So tell me about Roman numerals. Is that just like a let's do?
It started because Billy and I were like for Halloween we did a Joy Division tributes set.
Nice.
And so we played it, and people were like, man, you guys are really good at that. And it was the drummer from Dirt Nap and Sean from Shiner played bass, the first bass player, who's also became a business partner. We opened the club about that time too. And he I lost you there.
Okay. All right.
We did that, and people were like, people heard that it was good, and they started asking us to come play in cities around the Midwest. And I was like, man, I don't want to be in a cover band. So let's start writing original music. And so we started
along those same, picking up the vibes of what you're working on, but doing
the rhythmically, it was interesting stuff, like kind of dancier, and we had some synthesizers laying around. So we started. And we had used synths a lot on the last season record on the Shattering, and we were like, so we started doing that, and there were like half the songs. There were we had two bass players. Sean would play bass, and I'd play bass, and then someone had switched to guitar, and we were always switching around. And Billy and I both sang, and we kind of like our thought process was it's kind of has some Season Risk stuff to it, but it's more dancey, and it has like this 2 vocal attack, and it was kind of like mashing Joy Division with Fugazi or something. It was what we were trying to invent.
It hit a little different. It hit a little different, right? Because
it's
as much as not like every record sounds like each other, but Season Risk has its own sound.
I definitely was wanting to use my voice differently too, and sing in a very melodic way that you don't hear a lot in there's the gruffness and all the Season stuff, but
right.
And so and we did that. We toured a lot on that. Record charted and did a lot of cool stuff on college charts, and we went to the West Coast, went to the East Coast. But we'd opened a nightclub at that point too, the Record Bar. And
that was 2005, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yeah.
Because and here's why I remember. I think I was booking a tour that year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Although I think we ended up playing the Hurricane instead. If I remember.
That's where we all worked before Record Bar opened. All of us had jobs there, and that was our spot.
But I remember being like, next time we got to play Steve's place, and then I forgot.
Anyway.
But I was like,
did you never play the old Record Bar?
No, we played. Secret Friends played Mini Bar. Actually, it was 2020, right? It was like 3 weeks before COVID hit. But no, never played Record Bar. Never. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Which is crazy because like a lot of the venues have been around in the Midwest. Like we played Replicator, like Subterranean, and like a lot of places just like it, but for whatever reason, we never did.
Yeah.
We didn't play KC a lot though, for whatever reason. I don't know why.
On the intro, you said you have a show coming up
at Farewell. KC. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's right.
Yeah.
And Farewell's awesome.
And I would have maybe hit you up about that, but I didn't think we were going to do Kansas City this time. And then somebody was like, "Oh, can we do Kansas City?" I'm like, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah.
So I just added it on.
That's good. Yeah.
I haven't been to Farewell here. It's great.
Yeah, it's super cool, and the people that run it are cool, and it's good vibes.
Yeah, we played that was actually the last. Well, technically speaking, we were on tour when COVID hit, so we got three shows into it. But this was the one before it, down to No Coast and back, and we played with Defitted. That's when Delaney was still playing drums with them, and I was like, "Oh wow, this band's great."
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
Like a really crazy. How old is this drummer? Like, she's going nuts. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a memorable show, but yeah, we never played the main bar. So maybe we can change that at some point.
Yeah, start booking now though. It's crazy that it's booked out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd probably have to be with like a bigger friends band or something. I don't think we. I was just gonna say we don't draw that much in Kansas City. I don't know. That was freaking 5 years ago, dude.
Right? Yeah.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
You know what? Chat Pile opened up for us at New Coast, and it was like they're doing. Look at them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
taking
crazy.
the world by storm. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So a lot can happen. Okay, so record bar. Yeah, so tell me how the record bar experience becomes. Like, are you just like, hey, I know all the things not to do for a venue and a bar. Let's not do those things.
Yeah, it really was our attitude. Like, we were always saying, someday we'll have our own place. We'll do this. And the guy, I knew these Irish dudes that had this Irish pub, and they're like, we want to get out. Why don't you take over? And we did a deal, and we did it. And we just celebrated 20 years at Record Bar. We have had 2 locations. We lost our first lease, and we're in a bigger room downtown now. We 20 years. It's pretty crazy.
Amazing, man. Especially, again, mentioning COVID, not to put a final point on it. There's a couple of venues we played on that tour that aren't around anymore.
Oh yeah.
It was like a lot. It's brutal for venues, and that's and it's a different kind of headache and a different kind of joy, I would imagine. Dealing with that on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, and doing the booking. Like when we first opened, Billy Smith did the booking for us, and then he decided to move to New York, and that was also kind of whatever, that kind of put a pause on the Roman numerals thing, and he and I was like, well, I know how to do this. I had book shows when I was younger. We did those all at house shows and warehouse shows and stuff. And I'm like, I can do it. And we partner with some local promoters too, and so it's a lot, and especially now that we opened the mini bar a few years later, and that's the smaller 100 cap room, and Record was 400, and then in COVID we opened an outdoor place that's still it has a couple more shows this season, but it's in its 6th seat. We've been doing it for 6 years.
That's wonderful. Love that.
It's a lot of bands, a lot of stuff. So,
well, and it's there's something to be nice. There's something to be said for continuity and for there being people to care. Where it's how to. You know what a good show and a bad show looks like, and what like playing at a venue that is just a bummer to play at, and a venue that is like a pleasure to play at, and then you can minimize the hassles and maximize the good aspects of that.
Yeah, that's the goal. It's all you got to do within budget. That's the hard thing, but you.
Right, which is in a climate that everything is uncertain all the time, always. Which isn't just in music, but also especially in music. But
white hair,
right. Yeah, Sarah wasn't white before it. So, but the band, still doing things, getting together. We
would play. We just every couple of years for a while we would get together and do a show. We'd be some benefit for somebody or this thing. Sure. We'd always had such a good time, and then we wrote some music, but we just didn't really have the time. But then we get offered, come play this thing in Texas, or come play this thing in Chicago, and we just string together 5 or 6 shows, and that's really what we've been doing. And the last couple of years, it's ramped up since COVID. It's kind of seems to keep ramping up. And then Dwayne's really busy with his studio. He's constantly recording artists and all kinds of stuff. But just realized, okay, well, we have this tool, and when you're not, can we go in and do stuff when you're not busy? And so that's kind of where what happened was those last records were never on vinyl, and I'm such a vinyl junkie, and I just wanted to release them. And so that's kind of that process started it, like put out the Shattering on vinyl, and then like, okay, well, Men Are Monkeys, let's do that too, because it was never, so let's remaster it. That happens, and then we put these records out. Well, we got to go play some shows, and then it's
right. And there you go. You're off to the races.
We had to go back, and we licensed the Sony records. That took a minute. That was a little bit of a pain. I probably could have done it a little differently, but whatever. We got it done, and then so it's when does this air? Is this live? This is live.
This is live, but it goes to the patrons first, and then goes out to Gen Pop about a week later. So most people listen to it then. So, do you have a date?
Well, I think I can talk about it now.
Okay. Give me the exclusive, Steve. Come on.
It will get announced next week officially, but I think the Record Store Day released the list today, their Black Friday list. And in a perfect world, Dwayne has remastered it, and it will come out on Black Friday.
Fantastic.
And we have some updated artwork, and it sounds amazing. It comes out on Black Friday. We start a tour in Kansas City, goes all the way up to Seattle, and it's going to be brutal.
And I want to get on that and the touring as a elder statesman versus a younger man, right? Into that as well. But before we do that, since I'm going to forget if I don't mention it, the Sie Lieben Maschinen album.
Oh boy,
with Josh, right?
Yeah.
Which I love that record. It's great. And I would love it for many reasons, not the least of which is Chris Bolig from Replicator plays drums on almost all the songs, which I always forget about. Like, oh yeah, he did that. Which is a Scott Evans pairing. Which is great of him, and it's such a monster drummer. R.I.P. Basically spent my entire 20s touring and making records with that guy. So but great record, like really cool.
I never got to meet him, so yeah.
I know, and it was so sad. It was like, oh, it's like, you're gonna do shows with this? It's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay, because at the time he was only playing in Cartographer. And so he was barely playing drums, but he's just such a monster drummer. And I actually took him out drumming for Secret Friends a couple times.
Nice.
In like 2018, 2019, which is great because then was, it's like, oh, haven't done this in a while, but let's see if let's see how it goes. But it was great. It was wonderful. Like playing with him again, and that's a cool record. That's the June Gloom record is, it kind of hits a little different. It probably closest to Roman numerals, I guess, but like it's its own thing.
It has some weird trippy synth parts, and Josh, wrote all that music when on the road, and he was doing roadie work, and wrote it all on the bus and on a computer and programmed all the drums, and then took it to Scott.
Scott Evans,
and he reamped all the sounds through amps, and we recorded it all, and found those drummers to play over the beats, and then this kind of manufactured. And he sent it to me. He's like, "You want to sing on this?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." And I just went into Dwayne's, and none of us were ever together. We ended up doing about 8 shows with a couple different lineups. We went down to South by Southwest and played one year. We actually did more than 8. I bet we did probably 15 shows maybe, but we were all in different places, and we just couldn't. It just, we talk about doing another one, but time,
It's hard, especially when other stuff's happening. Did you get to meet Scott Evans ever? Well, you played Cannibal this year.
That's when I met him. I went up and introduced myself to him. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was cool to meet him. We didn't get a chance to talk much. He was he was on tour, so he was trying to protect his voice. He's like,
Yeah, right.
too much, you know. And I'm like, it's like, well, we'll catch up some other time. But
Good,
they were
good
great.
dude. Good dude. And great band, good dude. I mean, they
awesome.
were.
Yeah.
We were early adopters in the Colonwald City train, and
Nice.
boy, has it been a lovely train to watch. Okay, so all right, so there's a good amount of time between the activity. How did 1-800 Meltdown was a record store day thing too, right? The thing
it was. Yep.
How did that all come to pass? Because you just have like all this cool stuff, and it's like, let's get it on a thing and into a place.
Yeah, but when we were just going through all the archives, and we just found all this material that we never had done anything with, and we were digitizing it and revisiting it, and then we were like, we had a plan to do a new full length, and so we started working on stuff, and we decided we met Steven from Init Records in Minneapolis, and he was like, I would love to do something with you guys. And so like, well, what if we did this like a compendium? We had done it. I take that back. It started because the last tour we did, not the last, but one of those runs, I think it was for No Coast. And we're like,
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
We compiled it all and we put out a cassette tape of it. And it had even more stuff than's on the vinyl, a lot of like really weird experimental stuff. And they all sold out super fast. And I was like, wow, that's such a cool thing. But we had it on Bandcamp digitally. And then, like we said, Steven, like, well, let's maybe do that, but we'll give you the first song of this new batch of stuff we're working on. And so it opens up with that Echo Chamber song, which was written, last year. And we really just finished it right before we had to go to press. And so that's out there. And I got the licensing done for the Sony records about the same time. And I had already started talking it's going to be out on Spartan, who has just really just Shiner record last week. They've done the Giant Share reissues. They just released a Boys Life record today. And if it goes well, then we will reissue the very first record remastered on there as well. And then the new full length will be ready by then to come out.
That's great. Because especially I feel like there's, we're in this weird time where people that connected to the music the first time, they have real jobs and money now. And like, it's something where it's like, oh, that's perfect for somebody that never had a copy of it on vinyl. I've only had it on CD. I'm one of those guys. I didn't have it. At the time, I didn't have a record player, right? But there is something you mentioned earlier about it just feeling more real when there's a vinyl record of it. I feel that way too.
I really, I don't know. It's a fetish, I guess.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, they did. Spartan did Believe You Me, right? So that's the one that just came out like last week or something in our first time.
He puts a record out every week. It's
kind of wild.
Yeah.
Again, we did some stuff with Knapsack, which is not a band name that I'd heard in a while. I was like, oh yeah, Knapsack.
Yeah. He finds it. He kind of keeping some of this 90s stuff alive in early 2000s.
I feel like it's cool. Solid Brass in LA does the same sort of thing where it's like, oh yeah, great. That's Red Scare and stuff. Okay, cool. Awesome. So okay, cool. So you got there's something coming up for folks to you're going on the road. You're doing a bunch of shows, which is great, awesome, especially for people who never got to see the band, when you were touring hard. I was coming off of actually one of the longest tours I've done in years when I read that great article that you wrote about touring as a man of a certain age.
As a 50 plus. Yeah.
I forgot the exact title, but it was a pretty hilarious title too. That was great. I thought that was
Yeah, it was. We just finished that run up to New York and back, and I was taking pictures the whole time and just thinking of it was just goofy. It was a pretty fun little.
Well, but it hits on something that I think about a lot which is that you get different things out of it when you've done it for a long time. You get different things out of it, you know, when you're very young as opposed to when you're more mature. And I found some certain amount of resonance with that. I thought that was really cool and interesting. And I immediately hit up my PR guy and was like, why am I not doing these kinds of things?
Yeah. I'll tell you right before we hit that run, I also play bass in this band called Dan Jones and the Squids. It's this childhood buddy of mine who writes these songs. I play bass.
Oh, okay. I wasn't familiar with that band. Sorry.
It's like a power trio. It's super cool. We've put out 3 records since he moved back from Oregon. He was a Eugene guy. But right before we did that last season Risk tour, we did a couple shows with Mike Watt. Watt's a big fan of Dan's writing, and he's had us on his show a few times. But
that is a wild ride, that show.
Yeah, we did shows with him, and I came back, and then when we started the season the next day. But I was just like looking at how Mike does stuff, and like how he just, you got the process, and you make sure you do the process every day, and you make sure that you take care of yourself, and you just do the process. I mean,
you squeegee the windows when you're at the gas station, right? These things where it's like,
just so inspiring to see him doing it and the way he does it. It's like
inspiration. Love that dude.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about Violenteer too. Like, how did that come to pass? Because that's my understanding was Randy and the guys kind of already had it cooking a little bit first. Am I correct in that?
Yeah. So I've known those guys forever. I mean, going back to Ritual Device days, or at least Randy, and then him and his brother Barry had a project called Members of the Press that we did shows with way back. I mean, late 90s, maybe Men Are Monkeys days. I've known them forever. They're the Omaha guys, and you can get up there in about 2.5 hours. It's not incredibly far, but they opened for us. And I can't remember if it was a Cherubs tour, or it doesn't matter. They opened for us, and I was like, man, I really like this it's just instrumental, 2 basses and a drummer. And I was like, I really love some of the stuff. I go, you ever record any of it? I'd love to sing on a track. He goes, oh, all right, I'll hit you up, And then they had been recording, and he calls me. He's like, I want you to sing on all of it. And I was like, oh, shit. and so and the crazy thing with this band is that we actually have a show here in Kansas City Saturday. And I've never once rehearsed with them. We they kind of let me do what I want to do. And my attitude was, well, I want to bring synthesizers and some samples, and I want to be able to sing and it's a really cool project. I love, and it doesn't really have the ability to tour too much, but when you invite us to Caterwaul, we added a bunch of shows around it. And it was a really good time. And
it's really cool, and it's kind of different than other things that you've done. I mean, it's like in the same continuum, but like it's got its own thing.
Yeah, I wanted it to be kind of like with Roman numerals are singing. I want more singing, this kind of dark Gothic aspect, but it kind of combines it all together.
It's very dense music. Not like dumb, like just packed.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's incredibly composed. What they do is we had some technical difficulty at that Caterwaul show, but it didn't really come off the way we intended. But we had a really good time. So.
I thought it was so I heard everyone seemed to enjoy it, myself included.
Good.
Like it was. I wouldn't stress too much about that. I know.
That stuff goes right off of me.
Yeah. I get it. I've played shows like that too. And everyone wants to tell you how great it is, and you're like. Okay, thank you. Which is better than like the when you're just starting out thing that I see people do, or like, no, here's all the reasons why it was terrible. It's like, don't talk them out of their opinion, man. Come on, just like play cool. What are you doing? I thought it was great. So and I've been familiar with the band for a while, but it was cool to get to see it live, even though like Caterwaul, like I kind of. I get to enjoy 20 to 30% of every band, maybe, but that's a me problem, not a all right, so tell me about the Season of Risk tour stuff coming up. You guys are gonna be out for a while. You're hitting some areas you have not played in a really long time, right? Or ever.
We've actually played in every one of these cities, but it's been a very long time. It's been 20 plus years. So.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
for all of them. Yeah.
And that's cool. That's awesome. You've got some cool stuff for the merch table too.
Oh yeah. I got some. We did that show with Bifocal Media. They sent me a stash of those. I got some. Derek Hess did the artwork for the In a Perfect World. That's what we're going to be touring on that reissue. And he had given me some line drawings, some test drawings of stuff for when he did that artwork a few years back, and we're kind of making a new shirt out of that. And it's gonna be a brutal one. We're touring with Sisters is on the road with us. Sisters is Jason Blackmore from Molly McGuire.
Okay.
And Mario Quintero from Spotlights.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
It's their project, and it's also on Spartan. And theirs came out just like a month ago, their new record. And we're all piling the van together, and they're going to have, I'm going to mess up his name. Ian Prince from Minneapolis. He was in Houston. Story to See.
Sure, yeah.
He also plays with Soul Asylum sometimes. He's gonna drum for it because Gherkin is too busy. So because Gherkin played on the record, but he's gonna do it
because Gherkin's doing Shiner stuff, and I believe he's playing with Hum.
He's doing Hum stuff,
which is great, but crazy.
Well, he did a tour with them before. And then Brian came back, and then we sadly lost Brian, but.
Yeah, well, and that's when I say crazy. That's kind of what I was referring to. And
I didn't expect. I've been trying to get them to play again, and I was getting the vibe they weren't ever going to do it. But
that's I even asked Talbot if he wanted to come on this show, and he's very politely declined. He's like, "No, I don't think so."
Yeah,
like, okay.
I guess
fair enough.
Somebody wrote a big enough check, is what I'm guessing.
Dude, great. I mean, whatever gets them out, they're a hell of a band.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was
no slight at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all know how the sausage gets made, don't we?
yeah. And then I'm gonna blank out his name right now. I know him. Matt, the bass player is Matt. Gosh, it's embarrassing. I can't remember his name. He used to play in Murder by Death.
Matt Armstrong.
Yes, thank you. Gosh,
yeah.
So that will be the Sisters lineup for this, and we're sharing a gear. We're sharing a van, a trailer, and we're gonna do 6 to 9 hours a night, like every day, to get to all these cities, and. Because we only have a window to cram it in, because a couple guys in our band have families and day jobs that they got to get back to. So Matt's got a kid now too.
Now I'm even more bummed. We were like ships in the night, like by like a day or two. I think in Los Angeles, and I'm like, now I'm even more bummed that's not working. I didn't know Matt was playing with those guys. That's awesome. I love that dude. That's
he's a blast.
Great player. Very versatile, great dude. And that's gonna be awesome. I love to hear that. And of course, I mean, if I remember right, there's been a Season of Risk website like since the 90s.
Oh, we had a website before a lot of people had a website.
Yeah.
Rocky Brockaway from Craw built it for us. And Rocky, I don't know if you are familiar with Craw, but
I am
out of Cleveland. This is an epic like math rock band of we toured with them back there. We were great buddies, and I
think we actually did play with Craw once. I can tell you for sure I have a Craw CD right over there.
Right on, nice. Yeah.
Now, do I have a CD player anymore? No, not really. But I've got a CD still, so that's good.
Yeah. So
awesome.
he got us into it early, and then I started learning how to do just basic HTML and did more like a blog site. Our original early site was very blog where I would review records, and I hyperlinked tons of interesting stuff, and it was always a pretty fun project for years. And then when The Shattering came out, I had a different friend build this very interactive site, and then it just kind of changed over the years. And David, pretty much a drummer, he runs it now. So
it's funny that there's no like vintage appreciation for websites, but I do remember
yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I do remember it being a particularly good one, and that was there's something to be said for that. It was like it was a particularly interesting website, in which at a time when there wasn't a lot of that. There was like 6, 7 maybe. There were bands that were like treating it seriously. That spoke to me, obviously. Steve, great man, so great to have you. It's been awesome. It's been a long time coming. Sorry it took me so long to get around to it. Like I said,
it's an honor. I feel it's an honor to be on here.
At least when we did it when there's like a million things going on in your world. So that's timely this time, right? That's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So last question, and this is the only canned question I ever ask on the show, and you can choose to interpret it however you like.
Okay.
But why do you do what you do?
I mean, the easy answer is because I have to. You know, it's like you have to be creative to make a day have value. You know, I just have to. I've always had to do it. You know, whether it was art or writing or messing around with the website or whatever, you know, like that's just part of being a human, and a well-rounded human is to have a creative outlet. You know, I'm not saying if you don't have that, but I think everybody has it in some way. They might be, oh, well, whatever. I like Pokemon. I don't, whatever it is that you have the, you know golf. What I mean? Like, yeah, golf. Like that's probably like golf, guns and golf. I don't know. Like, no, then it's. I don't have those things, and then I don't want those things. This is what I want, and I also feel like, particularly the music and having the club, it's very. It keeps you connected to people, and it's very social, and you can have real conversations in real life, not on the internet where you're just saying stuff. And I think that's really important to keep. It makes the world a better place, in my opinion. So that's why I do it.
Steve, deeply appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Cheers.
See you down the line, brother.
Adios.
There he goes. There he goes. The man, the myth, the legend. Let's. I'll post all the tour dates and stuff on the show notes, of course. We'll be able to find out if they're playing near you, and if they're playing near you, hopefully see them. And then let's hear something. Oh, if I was really prepared, I would have something off of the reissue, but I'm not. So let's hear something off the Shattering. Let's just hear the Shattering.
Shattering, it's taking apart. That's
There you go. Shattering. Off of the Shattering by Season of Risk. Not the record's getting reissued right now, but you can, yeah, that's a good one. You can find that on your local internets as well as on the Season of Risk Bandcamp, seasonofrisk.bandcamp.com. They got the 1-800 Meltdown, Men Are Monkeys, Robots Win, Remastered, Shattering. There's a few stuff on there. Hey! This has been Protonic Reversal. Thank you so very much for listening to it. Appreciate you. That was great Steve Tuliapana. Appreciate that guy as well. The show airs Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. Streaming live on YouTube and Twitch, when I remember. Podcasted later everywhere. Always free, no ads, no sponsors, no kidding. It's a thing. If you like the show and you want to support and get episodes sooner, $1 a month at patreon.com/ProtonicReversal achieves that goal gladly.
Mr. and Mrs. America, all the ships at sea.
Thanks to everyone for liking, subscribing to your platform of choice. Leaving a review. All that helps people discover the show and helps beat back the almighty algorithm. And I deeply, deeply appreciate it.
50,000 watts of power.
Some cool stuff coming up. Again, Secret Friends on tour back half of October. And there's a couple more episodes coming up for then. I'm not gonna say anything until they're done. How about that? Made this mistake in the past. I'm not gonna say anything until they're done. But I always appreciate you. Appreciate your listenership. Don't be a stranger.
Can you hear me now?
Stay safe out there, everybody.
Out on Route 128, dark and lonely. I got my radio on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. But there is no special girl. It's the end of radio. The last announcer plays the last record. The last what? Leaves the transmitter. Circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? it really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, got my radio on. Can you hear me now? This is a test! If this had been a real emergency,